From the billing area, you can batch print insurance forms, continuation of treatment forms, statements, generate electronic claims if you purchase that option, and batch post large insurance checks. To access the billing area of Perfect Bite, click on Billing in the menu selection at the top of the main screen. Let's go through these one by one. Billing insurance forms. This is what you would use to batch print insurance forms. So the first thing you want to do, step one, is select your criteria. First question, reprint forms even if they're already processed. This allows you to pull insurance forms, maybe you've already printed them and you want to print them again for rebilling. This is a good way to pull out anything that maybe hasn't been paid for resubmission. You can uncheck it if you want to filter out those claims and not submit duplicates. I'm going to go ahead and leave my check mark in. The next option is only select claims with insurance. Sometimes patients want you to go ahead and bill their claims for them, the not accept assignment claims. So you can check this off if you only want insurance balances, or uncheck it if you want every claim to go, including the claims that are not accepting assignment for the patient. Select your doctor using the folder to the right. I'm going to leave mine set to all. You can select a date range by date entered or visit date. Date entered is a computer date, the date you actually put it in, and visit date is the date at the top of the visit, and usually corresponds with the date of service. I'm going to choose date entered for mine. I've got a wide range in here so that I can capture a few claims. And the next step, this last part, mark claims as processed when removing them from list. What this does is it marks the claim so that this question up top is relevant. If you mark the claim as being processed and you don't want to reprint these forms, by doing that it will filter those out. If you don't want to mark claims as processed, you mark no here. In most cases you'll say yes, or it will ask you as it's posting. I'm going to mark mine to no because I want to be able to use this example again and again. The next step is to click on search. This will find all the claims that met the criteria that I selected. This is a list of all the claims that are going to generate. Upon reviewing this list, I can also tag some of these claims not to go. For instance, I don't want this one for Catherine Eversole to go for 3306. So I'm going to double click it to tag it, and I'm going to click on remove tagged, and it will remove her from the list. You can also print this claim list report if you want to review it on paper. Step 3 is to edit these claims for any errors or potential errors. I click on View List to edit, and it brings up a list of some potential problems with these claims. For instance, stating that Catherine Eversole does not have her release of information set to yes, she has it set to no. Now this may be correct, but we're giving you a warning just in case you want to go make that correction. Signature on file on Robert Pfizer is set to no. This means that the patient's going to get the payment instead of the doctor. So you may want to go correct that. So you make all of your corrections here, and then you can return to edit the claims again until this is all clear. You can also print the error report if you'd like to look it over on paper. Once you're ready to print and everything is cleared out and edits are made, click on Print Insurance Forms and it will generate your batch. I'm going to go ahead and close out of here. And when you exit, it'll allow you to empty the batch so that it's cleared out for the next time. But you may want to say no if you're going to do your edits. I'm going to say yes. Going back to billing again, this time to continuation of treatment forms. The continuation of treatment area is available to our orthodontic and enterprise users, and is for running a batch of insurance forms for their continuation of treatment, quarterly and monthly insurance installment payments. Starting with step 1, we're going to enter a start and end date for pulling our forms. The start and end date encompasses the due dates for the continuation of treatment forms that you've created for each visit. I'm going to choose the month of September. You can select a particular status, either pulling all continuation of treatment forms, only ones not printed, ones that were printed but not paid, which is great for collection purposes, or ones printed and paid. I'm going to select all for the purpose of this review. You can also select a particular doctor, an insurance company, and your CDT code that you have associated with particular continuation of treatment. Continuation of treatment CDT code is D8670. You can also include COTs that were flagged not to print. These are the ones that you've set up in your continuation of treatment area as being automated. In other words, the insurance company is going to pay you automatically, monthly or quarterly, without you doing any billing. However, for collection purposes, in cases where they've missed a payment, you may want to go ahead and run a particular batch of printed but not paid and include those. Once you're done selecting your criteria, click on Search. Your continuation of treatment forms will come into this screen. You can double-click any one of the continuation of treatment forms and remove them from the queue if there's a particular one you don't want to go out, or just leave them all in here. Print a pre-post report for review, and then click on Print Continuation of Treatment Forms to print your batch. You can go back to View Search Criteria if you'd like to select a different batch, or click on Close once you're finished to exit. We always give you this option in the batch mode if you'd like to empty the batch before closing. This is in cases where you may get interrupted and you want to come back to run the batch that you're working on, or you can empty it out for the next time. In this case, I'm going to click Yes to empty it out to exit continuation of treatment. Okay, let's continue. Click on Statements. And all of these screens you'll notice have the same kind of a theme. You're going to have a criteria, and then you're going to do a search. You're going to have a list that you can edit. So in this one, step 1 is select your doctor. Again, you use the folder to the right. Where visit balances have aged at least, you can put a certain amount of days in here if you don't just want to pull all of them. Where each visit is a minimum of, you may want to put $5. Maybe you don't want to print up bills for less than $5. Print statements even if there's only an insurance balance. Sometimes doctors like to show the patients at least what they're sending to the insurance, even if there's no patient balance. You can check that box off in order to do that. I'm going to leave mine blank. Skip a statement if printed on or after a certain date. Maybe you printed a single statement or printed statements for some of your patients recently and you don't want to print those again. You can put that date in here. Skip patients on a payment plan. This is available for our orthodontic and enterprise users. If you don't want to print people that are on a payment plan, you can check that off here. I'm going to leave mine unchecked because I do want to bring everybody in, including people with payment plans. Show all payments on multiple billing party visits. What this is, if there are multiple billing parties for a particular patient and their charges, and you want all of the payments to show on the bills for both billing parties, you can check that off here. If you don't want to show all payments, uncheck that and you'll only see payments related to the specific billing party and their statement. Mark statements as printed when removing them from the list. You'll usually want to have this marked as yes because you'll want this to be able to work where if you want to filter out certain statements that have been printed, you want to make sure that's yes, and it'll post that on all the visits to let you know that you printed it. Plus, it's a nice thing to be able to look back and on the actual claim and see the date you printed it. So you should always have that marked yes, unless you're doing some sort of a test or resubmission and you want to mark it no. I'm going to do no because I want to be able to repeat this procedure if possible. or if necessary for training purposes. I can also put a message on my statement. Maybe there's a holiday coming up, or I want to let my patients know that there's an up and coming vacation time where we'll be closed. Something like that, just a universal message to all the patients. I can also choose to show credit card payment information boxes on a statement. If you remember, in general settings, you can set up messages for the credit card saying basically that you accept Amex, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, whatever. You can also check and uncheck that here to show it or not show it. And you can have a specific date to print at the top of the statement. Maybe you're going to print them today, but you're not going to mail them until tomorrow. You may want tomorrow's date on there so that officially it's stating that the statement was sent on such and such a day. Click on search and it'll find all the statements that meet that criteria. It shows me the insurance total, the patient total, and the visit total, and the due now. The due now is the payment plan amount for these patients that's currently due. If they have only one payment plan up, it'll print that particular payment plan. If 2 months have passed and they haven't paid 2 payment plans, it'll show the accumulation of the 2 payment plans and so on. You can also print this list for review on paper prior to printing your statements. You can also print labels on this screen to send out with your statements, but if you use a number 9 window envelope, these statements will fit beautifully into that. You can also double click to tag, just like in the other batches, remove any bills that you don't want to go, narrow down which ones you want, and then click on print to print your statements. It'll tell you that the process cannot be reversed once you do it, and basically what it's going to do is print the statements, and because I chose no to mark my claims, it will not mark them as being sent, but you'll have it marked a yes. And this is what the statement looks like. Patient name, all the transactions. Here's that credit card information I was talking to you about. You can make that say whatever you want or not print it at all. Shows the total insurance balance, total patient balance, and pay this amount. This pay this amount may vary if they're on a payment plan. And like I said, this will fit very nicely into a number 9 window envelope. Let's exit out of here. Cancel, and it's going to ask me if I'd like to empty the batch, which I'm going to do. If you decide to come back here for further review, if you get interrupted, need to come out before doing your batch, or you're working it and want to print it at the end of the day, you'll want to say no, and it'll save everything in here as is. I'm going to empty my batch to clear it and exit out. Click on electronic statements or electronic claims, and you'll notice this looks very much like the insurance form generating screen. It's basically the same thing. You select your search criteria, you click on search, you can tag and remove anybody that you don't want to go, as many as you want. You can print the claim list for review, and you can view the edits. The main difference is that instead of printing your claims or visits or ADA forms, you're going to generate an ECS file. Now you can only utilize this option if you selected and enrolled for electronic claim submission. And we'll train you further on setting that up, but this is basically how you run the batch. So I'm going to close out of here and continue on. I'm going to empty my batch. Finally, posting large insurance checks. It's a very simple screen. Your insurance checks will be listed here as you post them, and you can sort them in a variety of ways by insurance code, check number, or date entered. You click Post New Check. Select your insurance code. Enter a check number and an amount. and add a payment. Highlight your patient, put in the payment amount, and click OK. You want to keep on adding payments that are relevant to this EOB that you've received with this check, and will allow you to post this once the check amount equals the payment amount. This post payment button will become available for you to post. So continue to post, create your list, change any payments that you need to, delete any payments, modify them. You can print a pre-post report that lists these payments. And then once the amount and the payment in green down here equal each other, this button will become activated. And you can click post payments. It'll post this to all of the relevant selected visits. Now here's something to remember. You can close out of here and return to this screen to complete your check. If you get busy and you need to go back out, schedule appointments, do whatever you need to do and come back to this when you have more focus, you can come back into this area, click on Modify Highlighted Check, and complete your batch. So it'll remain in queue until you post the payment. And then, like I said, you can view it out on the screen here, and it'll list the date posted, the check number, the amount, and who entered it. Once this list gets really big, you may want to have the option to show only unposted checks, which you can do by clicking the checkbox here. So that's how you would batch post a large insurance check to multiple patients. Click on Close to return to the main screen. And that covers the billing section in Perfect Bite.